everyone, welcome to Best Intentions. We are outside on a frigid December 1st afternoon.
Feels so good, right?
Hey,
We're close.
post Thanksgiving blur still, but we got a little bit of Christmas.
Blur or bloat?
A little bit of both. A little bit of blur, a little bit of bloat. But we got our Christmas wreath out. It's pretty outside. We just wanted to come and meet you out here today as we talk about something that really bothered me. Last night. And
Are you going to introduce me?
This is my wife, Carrie, by the way, for those of you that don't know her.
That's what you
My
normally
beautiful
say.
bride, Carrie.
Thank you.
Nag. Hey, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about nagging.
Do you nag?
And it is so effective to get what you want. Have you noticed that? It is incredibly effective to get your spouse or significant other or employees just
It totally
nag 'em.
motivates you whenever I just keep at you about something, right?
Oh, I just love it. Hey, so last night, my son, we have a routine. It's kind of a fun routine. We have this little stuffed animal. We throw back and forth in his room, and we chit-chat about the day as we do this little game and try
It's
to...
really cute. He loves it.
It's fun. But I happen to notice that his pet chameleon didn't have any water. Which
It's a big old chameleon.
He's supposed to water and feed it every day, and so I had to tell him, Judah, we can't do our thing because you didn't do your chores. You had a responsibility.
Yes, he told me he did.
He lied to me.
I just believed it.
He told me he did too. And so he was angry. He was mad. He's storming around.
You saw there was no water, so you knew he hadn't.
Yeah, so I knew he had lied. And then as I was walking out, I happened to notice his dirty socks were still out, his toys were still out, all of these things he knows he's supposed to do. And so he was mad at me. And you know what it was is my heart started hurting. Here's my boy. I love my boy, and I missed this time to connect with him.
Right.
And now I said goodnight to him, and I said, hey buddy, I love you. And he went, and walked away.
Ooh, and he went the other way around, too,
He
right?
did. He avoided me. And my heart hurt. And honestly, I did not sleep well because my heart just hurt. So as I was doing my journal this morning, and as I was thinking and praying about that, I thought, hey, you know, what are some of the most important things to me? And I want to say my love for my children, but I realized my hurt last night, my hurt this morning, was one of the things I love is that my kids love me. And sometimes, I'm going to just make an honest parent confession here. Maybe it's an awful one, and my wife will correct me. But
I think it's really normal.
But sometimes my love of my kids loving me kind of takes priority
It might even get in the way of having consequences.
Of me loving my kids well. Because consequences, discipline, teaching, those are all ways you love well.
Right.
And if I don't love my kids well by helping them become better, then I'm placing my love of them loving me over my love of them. Does that make sense? Have you ever done that?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank goodness.
And
I didn't want to be the
thing.
only bad parent here.
Are you calling me a bad parent?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, the one thing that keeps coming to my mind, though, sorry about that, is that it is important to have consequences for our children, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I do think sometimes we lose sight of having balance. And so I think about this, so I'll talk about Zelia for a second, because I've noticed in my own life, and I really think this happened through, like, there was a season where I was working full-time, and I was planning a wedding, and I was going to grad school, and I was doing all these things, and I was trying to do everything so perfect that I tend to, especially here lately, I noticed that I began trying to perfect everyone else around me. And I don't know if you've experienced this, especially during like this season of COVID, but I've watched a lot of people feel like things are out of their control, so then they kind of try to control other people. And so actually, I think it was a while back, but I can remember Zelia calling me out on this. She was like, Mom, I just feel like I can't ever do anything right. And, oh, man, it just kind of hit me in between the eyes on my forehead, because I was like, that's not at all the message that I was trying to send. But clearly, my communication to her was not motivating her, right?
Well, and so the challenge is, how do we help those around us? How do we help them elevate their game, become the better people they want to be? Like as a parent, I want my kids to be great.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my idea of greatness on them.
Right.
I want to help them become the great people they are designed and equipped and called to be.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that's where all of you are as well. But there is that fine balance between how do I do that well and how do I not nag them? Or really, how do I not put my goals on them?
Right. Well,
It's a little windy, and now there's a beep, beep, beep as we try to do this.
we hope that you appreciate our
Everything is
authenticity.
out of control, as you can tell. So how, because I think what you said is really true. So often things feel out of control for us. We don't like what's going on, and so we can't control ourselves. We try to control others, and at the heart of it, that's nagging, isn't it?
Right, absolutely. And, I think one of the things we were talking about before we started is so often it feels like a reflection of us. And so we try to control. And I think of this, even with like Matt, I have had times where
Your hands are really cold as you touch me.
have nagged the heck out of him. And I feel bad about it. And I still do it sometimes.
You heard it, and she still does it.
And, really in the beginning of our relationship, I didn't do that.
She lied to me. I thought she was this
tricked
supportive
you.
wife, and she tricked me.
Hey, you're not guilty of this, right?
No, not a bit.
But I think, of examples like, here, gosh, how many times have I asked you to take out the trash and you keep forgetting to take out the trash?
I'm normally
And
pretty
then
good with that stuff,
I turn around and see, like, the dishes overflowing in the sink. And so this makes me think of, like, are you reflecting on yourself? And so, we wanted to kind of share some insight about, like, that speck in your own eye kind of thing.
Well, and Jesus, he does have this great illustration in the Sermon on the Mount where he says, don't try to pick out the speck in someone else's eye until you take the log out of your own. And really, I don't think Jesus is saying, I have a log in my eye and she only has a speck.
One time I did have this thing in my eye that was terrible for days. I thought I was going to die. I felt like a rock in my eye, and Matt did not believe me.
I didn't, and I felt so bad because it was serious.
It was for real. It
by
was
the time
arthritis.
we actually took her to the eye doctor, she could have lost her eyeball.
So, anyways, back to logs.
But anyway, Jesus, eye, logs. But no, the idea, Jesus says, don't try to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye before you take the log out of your own eye. Really, I think what he's saying there is, you've got to realize we all have specks in our eye. You have specks in your eye. I have specks in my eye. And
you might have bigger ones.
I might. But it's perspective. It's perspective. The moon looks really small because we're so far away, but up close, it's enormous. And my specks are still blinding. They may be only little things. I may be generally a good person, a disciplined person. I got my act together. But I've still got to be humble enough to realize I have specks in my own eye.
Reflect. Be introspective about yourself. Yeah.
And don't try to get others to be just like you want them to be.
God made us different for a reason, and He made them the way that they are supposed to be, right?
Yes. And so, there's this humility that has to come with raising others up, helping others up. I've got to realize before I help you, I've got to make these confessions. I've got some specks in my own eye. Let me make this confession. Let me make this honest assessment.
Right. Well, there was a season that I went through with Matt, and
it was a beautiful season.
It wasn't actually. We have lots of beautiful seasons, but this time where like nutrition, food, exercise, it does come more naturally to me, and it's a passion of mine, and
Doritos are a passion
feel
of mine.
better when I eat healthy
Cool
and
Ranch.
exercise. I don't always get it right, and man, I've been eating dressing for like 10 days now, but I think I tried to control Matt for a long time. Like, do you know you shouldn't eat like potato wedges, macaroni and cheese, and mashed potatoes from KFC? He didn't know that. He just thought it was good, tastes good. Why not eat it all at the same meal, right?
Isn't corn and potatoes, aren't they vegetables?
But,
in all fairness, I really thought that. I really did. I thought I was doing good.
But here's the thing. How many people I have met with, like in counseling sessions or friends or whoever it is, where it totally does not inspire the other person. As a matter of fact, I've heard over and over, specifically men say, when my wife nags me, it makes me eat worse, or it makes me eat more because I feel worse about myself. When I
just become angry, and it's like, you tell me no, I'm going to say, oh yeah. And I don't even mean to do that. It's just like an internal reaction.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I finally came to was letting go. letting go honestly and truly lifting it up in prayer. Prayer that changed me in the long run, not just prayer to like, oh, change him, but prayer that helped me to let go and find a way to be supportive instead of nagging. I'm like shivering from the inside out right
I know,
now.
it's a little cold outside. Hey, and as we want to land this plane and give you something to go away with, and thinking about nagging, thinking about how we love others, and what are we looking for in that, we have to ask the question, whose goal am I helping them achieve? Am I trying to help them achieve my goal for them, or
is it
their goal for themselves?
Right.
At the end of the day, we want to help them, not control them.
Right. That is a big difference. And when we control, man, that really creates this heaviness within a person versus if they feel like, wow, like my wife, my mom, whoever it is really supporting me, they're going to be much more inspired for the change there. As we were talking, my head starts itching as I say this. We had a lovely experience one time. I wonder if you've ever had this experience. Wasn't it recent? It's been a few years actually, where we had, brace yourself, lice.
Oh, I had no idea it was such a big deal.
We had a child that
terrible.
had lice. And let me just go ahead and tell you that it was not me. But I was terrified that I had it for like days. Let me just tell you that was a very humbling experience because I was like, I think I remember telling my supervisor for licensure when I was going through that process, like, oh my gosh, like, I am a pastor's wife and I'm a counselor and my husband is a pastor and like, we're clean. I mean, we don't give our children a bath every single day, but
once or twice a week. So
we try to have good hygiene. Why on earth did this happen? It was so embarrassing. I remember them like sending a note home from school,
But I learned something through this process. I had no idea where the source of this word was. But have you ever been nitpicked? And yeah, so a nit is an egg of a lice
Don't touch
larvae.
my hair when you're talking about that.
And nitpicking is the process you have to go through to try to rid these almost invisible, like, little bugs
I
and
think I'm
eggs.
experiencing PTSD right now when you talk about it.
Nitpicking is, I feel like I'm trying to get them. And that's what we do when we nag. We are trying to get every little fine-tooth detail out of somebody. And so as we close this up, we want to just encourage you. Aim to help, not control. Aim to have a conversation that helps identify what someone else's goal is for themselves. If Carrie would have said, hey, let's really lay down, can we talk? And
we eventually did that,
And have a conversation about health. This is important to me. What's important to you?
And speaking from the heart, going, hey, I really want you to be with me for a long time. Like, that's why I want you to eat healthy.
That helped me. It wasn't an image thing. It wasn't her idea and her desire to control me. It was, hey, I love you. I want to be with you. How can I help you accomplish what you need? And so, when it comes to nagging, when it comes to love, don't be aiming to just get the love from somebody else or present your image or put your control on them. Start having some conversations. Have the best of intentions for somebody.
Well, and as we think about the best of intentions, think about who might you be nagging? Ask yourself that question. Are you nagging someone?
He still does it.
I am not. Actually, we went inside and I was like, why'd you do that? What'd you do? And he's like, no. And I was like, as we're preparing for this podcast. So we're all a work in progress. Go and live out your life. Have the best relationships. Catch yourself from nagging. And be the best you can be, whether it's a parent, spouse, an employee, a boss, whatever it may be.
That's all I got. Does that sound like a good idea? Let's go be better about that today. Hey, I'm Matt. This is my beautiful bride, Carrie. This is Best Intentions, and we're thrilled that you listen. If you get a chance, like it or share it. We would love to be able to just reach some more people and show them that there's so much we can do when we work together and love one another well.
Yes.
Till next time, guys. We'll see you. Bye-bye.